Good job. Good picture, isn't it?
It is very clear.
Yeah,
It's pretty well.
I never a picture.
we're all gonna make YouTube.
Right on the picture.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Candace and Christine, we only see the back of them.
We can move the whole table.
It's none of my
Why,
business.
do you not want to sit over here? What?
If there's a spot for me to sit.
Like this one.
Corner.
This can sit there and
She's
there.
not coming.
There's Don. Hi, Don.
Right here.
She just had to.
Hey, Don.
Hey.
Don, can you hear us, sir? Oh, you're muted, sir.
Huh? Yeah, better.
Now you should be able to hear me.
There he is. Hi,
Good
Don.
afternoon, Don.
Good evening, council.
Good afternoon, evening. Yes.
Call to order the city council meeting of the city of Hayes for March the 10th, 2025. And we'll have roll call starting with Tony, please.
Lee Valdez, present. Bob Lehman, present.
Christine Jones, present.
Candace Blake. Lydia Bryan Valdez.
The mayor, Harvey Davis. And also online is our city engineer, Don Rashuber. We're waiting for our attorney. So let's do the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America.
of which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh,
And public comments, and first up is Hannah Blue.
Hello, everybody. I was just going to ask or suggest maybe that on the next Hayes happenings, maybe we could have a little blurb to ask people to pick up their trash in their yards. And I'm not talking about like junk. I mean, like, I know that's a whole different story, but I'm talking about paper trash and things that are blowing around.
We got
There's
a lot.
There is a yard in between our yards
Yeah.
that is continuously blowing trash into our yards. And we, every single week, I'm picking up trash from my yard that's not from my house. And it became particularly bad on a windy day, and I know that the wind contributed to that. But even when we're not dealing with that, I just think it would be a nice little reminder. I know we can't force anybody to do it. But just, just a little friendly blurb of, hey, let's look out for our neighborhood. And I know there's people that drive through and throw out their trash, so not talking about that, but I'm talking about your personal trash in your personal yard. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Can I say something, Harvey? I know I'm not supposed to respond to comments, but can I just say something
But
in
yes.
general? Okay, so we're going to have a visitor from the fire department here talking to us about what to do to prevent fires and with yards and brush, all that. And so I think things like that.
He's presenting at 7.
So, roll for 10.
Okay, first thing I wanted to talk about was our long-term resident, Mr. Legal Swartz, passed away. lived right across the street. When I first became mayor in 2014, he was on city council. And he was always very nice and friendly and, caused a ruckus, to say the least, but he didn't stay on the council very long because he was ready to retire anyways. I'm sad to see that he's passed. Aaron Zwingler, our state legislature, sent us an email. It's just me, that she listed all the bills that she has filed and then put asterisks around the ones that her aide thought that would affect us. All of them, and I've downloaded all those bills, put them in a folder on SharePoint, the city secretary section. And they all relate to giving counties more power to regulate water. All of them are about water conservation and giving more power to counties. So to me, they're good bills. She's asking for city support on those. So somebody wants to read them and make a recommendation to the council at our April meeting, that would be great. Otherwise, I'll make a recommendation. And as we know, Rose, our current city councilwoman, has been in the hospital. I got an email from her today, because she'd written me several days ago, a week ago, really, saying she wasn't going to make it to the meeting. And she didn't know if she's going to be home or not. She thought she was going to have a procedure and then go home right away, but she got stuck in the hospital. Off the course. But she said today she thought she was going to come home today. I don't know if she's gotten home or not. But I just want to make sure everyone is aware that she's safe. And finally, this is March Madness. I love basketball. And of course, this week they're having tournaments of all the conferences. They've done that for the women's side. And for some reason, they're waiting a whole week to announce who's going to be in the big tournament. Whereas the men's side, they're having the tournament this week, and then right away, I guess on Sunday they make that announcement. But anyways, it's exciting, and I decided that I'm going to try to support better state. Our college.
We're like,
And what's really nice is what's really nice about Texas State is you go down to the football stadium. There's not going to be a big crowd, but you know they're good football players.
Yeah.
And so that will be entertaining, and you won't have a lot of crowds and 100,000 people way up and you can hardly see it and all that kind of stuff. So anyways, Texas State is going to be my second favorite team.
who's the third? Who's the third?
You know, I was just saying, we've been thinking about this for something for us to do. We're gonna get tickets to go watch football.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
So
At UT or UT
but
football?
I also
I can't afford UT.
I have a thank you.
Pardon me.
I also heard that, I like to listen to a few podcasts on YouTube. But I also heard that it's for sure that Texas State is going to change conference and become part of the new Pac-12. They would have better teams coming in.
That's really cool.
Good exposure,
So
right?
anyways, thank you. That's all I have.
Thanks, Harvey.
Definitely go buy some tickets.
On there,
Very
yeah.
good team.
It says we have 2 participants, but. I think it's icing. No, it's just icing. No, Josh is on.
Okay, then, yeah, give them a text. So we'll just go down the road then. 4A is take action to approve minutes for the meeting of February 10th, 2025. I think you all been sent those minutes. So I would entertain a motion to approve.
I'll follow the motion, sir.
Okay,
To approve the minutes.
I second it.
all in favor? Okay, thank you. Receive and take appropriate action to approve financial reports for January, February 2025. And February is not ready yet, but January is in your backup, and that's for the first 4 months. And I just wanted to show, which is also written in here, but as of the end of January, we spent 68,427 for the well number 3, which on your financials is shown as an expense, but at the end of the year, it will be transferred to fixed asset. Your financials show a loss of 34,000. So if this was off, we'd actually have
Plus.
revenue over expenses of 33,000. Things are moving along, hopefully. Starting next month, I'll do some comparison to see the effects of the increase of our water rates and how they compare with last year. To know that. So, no action necessary unless somebody wants to approve it. The financial report for January.
Oh, we didn't know. Okay, then we'll call you as soon as we're in executive session. Thank you for letting me know. I'll call you in just a few minutes. Thank you, Sir Bono. He's on the road and he asked us to call him when we're ready.
Oh, okay. So let's just do 4C real quick, then we'll go into executive session. Consider and take appropriate action concerning a request to add a flow restrictor at Elliott Ranch. We have one house that has used more than 30,000 gallons a month for 3 months. They've been sent letters every month. I did notice that, because I got the amount for the 3 months, and it was like the first month it was 100,000 gallons. Second month it was like 70 or something. And the third month it was down to 50. So they were making progress. But and PGMS was ready to put the flow restrictor. I just thought first that I would let you know ahead of time that they will and add the flow restrictor. I'm okay with that, but wanted to give you all a chance to ask any questions or.
What months does that cover?
It covers through February.
Okay, so they were using 100,000 back in, say, December, November,
Yes,
December.
right.
So they need a restrictor because now it's getting
Right.
warm. They're gonna start watering.
Yeah.
They need.
And it's a house that has, because I looked it up the aerial view, and it has a pool.
Yeah, all kinds of fancy landscaping.
And I
Yeah,
think
they
it
need a
might be,
restrictor.
I think it might be this member, our visit with Roxanne, and we had somebody that was there.
Mhm.
Might be that house.
So, another
So-
question.
Yes.
So what's the procedure with the flow restrictor? They put it on and then
It stays on for a month.
they have to show that they can get way down to an acceptable
Yeah.
level that month, and then they get it off. Do we
Right.
have to go through another waiting 2 or 3 more months? Or can we put it right back on immediately if the next time that?
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure about that.
Okay,
So,
maybe we wouldn't have to go through like 3 months of them.
yeah.
So
I could read, wait a minute,
oh, I'm sorry.
Tony, I think you.
I think we have a process and procedure already lined out for this restrictions to be put in. How can they get it off and
Yeah.
and go forward? So
Yes.
it's already in the, in the,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in the water tariff.
right in the water
It
tariff.
goes through all the procedures,
Okay.
but I don't have it committed to memory.
So the ones that exceed for 3 months is automatically goes on. Okay. We go from there and follow the procedure.
Okay. Great.
So, Bill,
Tom, you have the
well,
call.
I was just gonna ask, what is the legal maximum amount they could be using, you know?
Well, we
I'm-
are being fined every month, like $300, $500. So it's not, crippling,
Right,
but we're being fined because of over pumpage at Elliott Range. Here, nobody waters it long. And
Not much.
so
But it's,
we are well in compliance with the state's.
we're not under the 30,000 level, I
yes,
guess.
that's the level. If
Yeah.
you're asking the like
That-
amount that
That's
we're
what,
looking at,
okay,
it's over 30. So anything under 30 is,
Yeah.
you can get. under
It's a
the-
lot of water.
Well, you pay a bonus.
You bid higher rate. Huh?
It's Peter Pan metal.
Okay. You pay a bonus of, I think it's $8.25 per 1,000 gallons. Every gallon is
Yeah.
over 30,000
Yeah.
gallons, so their bill includes that bonus amount.
so what,
Yes, wait a minute. You,
did they have any idea this is coming?
Yeah.
yes.
Because the PG water company has to deal with it.
Yes.
They receive a notice every month. Would you like for us to go to the firefighter next? He's waiting at the door. And then see Josh, or do we want to have him wait? How long will it be in executive? session?
We want to go to executive session.
Okay.
He's.
He's supposed to start at 7.
Is he in the door now?
I saw him come up to the door.
Oh.
There he's on the phone.
You can come in and sit down while we get.
So, we will now retire into executive session, and that will be to take up item number 5F. Receive and take appropriate action regarding Hayes Common Development application with Texas Committee on Environmental Quality to create a municipal utility district within the city of Hayes, former ETJ. And this is due to the exception to the Open Meetings Act of consulting with our attorney. Okay?
It's about 7:05.
Okay.
Make sure we get. Josh. Cheers. I'm gonna have my share.
Well,
So,
And some way to pin that so it's not a trip over anymore.
uh, so we have returned from executive session. And we've taken up item number 5F in executive session. Is there anybody who would like to make a motion? Like, this is really costing a lot of money.
I have a question. Do we turn off the recorder and then turn it back on, or did it stay on continuously?
I don't know.
Stays on? Okay.
I think we should stay firm and continue our, you have this, the city of Hayes,
Okay.
against the mud. If we pull out now, then it's send a wrong signal.
Do we know how much further we are in the process? How much more we have to go after this, or
Well, I think our attorney gave us
maybe
a good reading of motions and counter motions and more hearings and so all that is very expensive.
I think I would do this and maybe not the appeals process. Does anyone else have any comment?
Yeah. So without any motion, we'll move on. And we'll move to item 4D. Receive, discuss, and possibly act regarding fire prevention issues. And sir, you have the floor. I'm sorry, I don't know your name.
My name is Rodney, so on Striker Solis, Unified Fire Station. So I stand here, right?
Yes.
So my name is Rodney Solis. He's head of the Unified Department. So my job with that is basically we do fire inspections, me and the fire marshal, we do inspections for fire code compliance businesses. Fire, we do fire investigation. So a big part of our job is prevention. So we go to businesses and homes and then we talk about fire prevention, you know, everything from the kitchen to what we're gonna talk about over the other guys. Wildland urban interface. Okay, so basically all it means is where homes like around here, with the wildlands, area needing forest, you know, stuff like that. So it's a very like especially around summertime, it's a point where people get a little worried. You know what I mean, like I'll be honest, like what just happened at Ruby Ranch over there, we got a lot of people's attention right now. You know what I mean? So everybody's kind of really interested in that. And thank goodness it wasn't really a bad deal with the neighborhood itself, Ruby Ranch. None of the houses got burned or anything like that. It was kind of a close call for a while there, but we weren't sure actually where the fire was coming, because if you recall, it was very windy. And windy, dry conditions is a recipe for disaster. So that's why, like recent big wildfires, like say Maui, okay? And of course, we all know about California. Right? What was our major conditions over there? What was the big wind condition? The wind, right? Wind and heat. So dry spells. So drought conditions that's a very, very bad recipe for disaster. So a lot of times what happens is when you have these windy conditions, these dry conditions, something sets it off. Like either like in Maui, what happened was they have a power line that was basically blown down, fell. Fire crews went over there and they thought they put the fire, but it basically reignited. And so then once it reignited, again, you have those dry conditions and the winds just picked it up and made it spread very, very fast. So what happens when you have a fire that's wind driven? You get what? You get embers. Okay. And A lot of people don't realize those embers can travel up to a mile. Each one of those embers in fire, especially if it's wind driven, will create thousands, millions of bigger fires, right? And each one of those is like a match. So you're literally like throwing a match in a hot area, you know what I mean? That's, or a hot and dry area. Each one of those can cause a fire, so that's why they spread so much. With the Garley Creek fire, it was coming up on us. And we unfortunately couldn't get a bird up in the air, nor could we get a drone at that time because the wind was so strong. So we weren't sure where it was coming. The neighborhood was full of smoke, right? It was getting very, very smoky. So a lot of people were getting really, really worried. So we did some evacuations, really mandatory. Okay, we recommended evacuations, which is what I'll start talking about when we kind of get into what we're doing here. But just to give you an update on that. And nobody wants to hear that where, you know, nobody wants to have somebody come knock on your door and say, hey, we would prefer you back. No, let's be honest, nobody do it. I think of myself as a prepared guy, and about 1,000 things that I haven't done. Somebody would literally, you know, knock on my door and say, hey, I'm going to be back in 20 minutes. There's always that, what about my record? What about my medical stuff? You know what I mean? Just, you know, pictures, you know, stuff like that. So, you know, it's definitely a rememberable moment. We literally had people just crying when we were, you know, trying to get them to evacuate, you know, and just taking pictures off walls. You don't know what's, you don't know what's taking. But I got nothing happened. You know, nobody's homes were in danger. Anyways, so let's get a little bit talking about this program. It's a very, very program, very, very good. Okay, it's called the Ready, Set, Go initiative. Okay. And this is actually put together by the National Forestry and the International Fire Chiefs Association. Okay, nice and simple to remember. Ready, set, go. Okay. And I'll have some resources for y'all. Let me tell you real quick. So this one you can actually download. You can get some information like these brochures from www.wildlandfirersg.org. I'll say it again, www.wildlandfire, WILDLANDFIRE, R like S like Sierra, G like golf.org. Okay. So you can go to that and they have some really good information that you can get download and stuff like that. So let's talk a little bit about the one by one. So we'll take it into the 3 steps. The 1 is the ready, 2 set, and the 3 is the go. Okay. So a big thing about this on being prepared for a wildland fire is responsibility, personal responsibility. You have to do what you have to do to get your house to be safe. The reason why I say that is because people don't realize this. Like, let's say, especially in hilly areas, like say California, right? And then you know, we got some hilly areas in Austin. What's the Steiner Ranch? Steiner Ranch. Remember they had one way in and out. I don't know if you guys recall that. No, big Steiner Ranch fire. Yeah. So, which we'll talk a little bit about that. But the thing is that a lot of this stuff, when the fire departments are going down these areas, okay, let's say there was a really big wildland fire, you know, something like that. The fire departments are going to houses, they're driving by and they're going, that one we can save, that one we can't. That one we can save, and that one we can't. And they're literally looking at that stuff. They're going, because remember, what's the one thing that we don't have a lot of during fire? Resources. Water. We don't have enough engines, you know, stuff like that. So we're not going to waste time, especially on a big fire. We're not going to waste time on homes that cannot be saved because they never bothered to take care of their own, making their homes fire safe. Right. If you've got big, huge, you know, trees that are hanging over your home, you've got, you know, your lawn is not cut, it's very big, you know, stuff like that. You've got a bunch of, you know, dead piles of leaves that are dry and stuff like that all over your front yard. That's not a home that fire departments are going to take a lot of time trying to rescue. You've got 2 homes down the road that they've got manicured lawns. You know what I mean? The trees are cut back. Everything is very trimmed, you know, stuff like that. That's a home that can be saved. But a home, like I said, with all that overgrowth, and it just basically looks like a you know, like a jungle right in front of the yard and stuff like that. You know, you just can't waste a lot of time on those houses. People don't realize that.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So it's important for us to get to work, especially in this neighborhood, stuff like that, you know. Because I've seen them driving by the ones that, you know, they don't really take care of their yard. It's overgrown. You know, they've got, you know, like I was telling you about the wood, right? They've got wood for firewood, stuff like that, just run up against the home, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. You have to think about that stuff beforehand. So personal responsibility to debate, sir.
Well, we have a terrible violator of that, and that is the owner of all this land adjacent to our property. It's all forest, they don't do a
Yeah.
thing for it, it's a
Exactly.
tinderbox,
And they know, they just, a lot of times they don't.
and they're a rich developer.
Yep.
And, well, they start a fire down here, every home on Country Lane, and a few on Red Bed, including my house, would be.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Every community has those homes that just nobody wants, everybody's mad at them. And they-
No, this isn't a home, this was a
Like
vacant
an area.
land.
Vacant area.
They don't do any fire mitigation.
Yes.
I promise I'll just ask a quick question. We have one home in our neighborhood that has 12-foot high dry bamboo all around it, almost like trenches. And properties adjacent on both sides, manicured, well taken care of, cut back the trees. But that one is a big risk for fire for our whole neighborhood.
Absolutely.
What can we do about that?
Well, unfortunately, not a lot. It's private property. You know what I mean? Now, when neighborhoods have, you guys don't have HOA.
No.
Yeah, the neighborhoods don't have HOAs and stuff, it makes it very, very tough. HOAs, I have a pretty strict HOA in my neighborhood, I live in Sunfield, so yes, they're paying the butt, and no, I don't like to pay my HOA fees. But when something like that occurs, that's when, you know, go get them, Tiger, you know what I mean? That's what we expect for them to handle stuff like that. But when you don't have an HOA.
But just being a fire hazard is not enough.
Not when it's private property. And
Right.
you know, they can unfortunately do kind of what they want to do. Now, if it's a business, it's very different. So I can go to a business, since I'm the inspector, my boss, the fire marshal, we can go to a business, and if it's like you just described, let's say it was 7-Eleven or something like that. And what you just described, I can go there and I can say, hey, we need to trim all this down, because this is a wildfire or wildland risk. Exactly. So that's different though, it's commercial, you know what I mean? But residential, I don't have any power with that.
Can we do that for the land behind us, to the developer,
I mean,
and ask them to treat that, to cut back?
Not really, there's really nothing in code that we can do, you know.
He's a business, he has an ag exemption. Saves them hundreds of thousands of dollars
I don't know of anything,
taxes, so that
What
is
is
a
it, ag
business
exempt?
over there.
what is that, is that?
Cattle,
Yeah, well,
yeah,
There's no cattle there.
there they are, okay. Got bulls,
It has an ag exemption.
yeah, got bulls in there.
There are some panels.
some, you know, some are bees, some are cattle, some are all sorts of different things. I don't know of any, I'll look into that, and if I find something, I'll let you know, but
Thank you.
I don't think so, unfortunately. All right, so let's move on along here. So basically, again, personal responsibility, like I said, but what you're aiming for is you want to make your home a part or a part of home to captain fire. Okay? So you want it in what we call a clear defensible space. Meaning you've got a well manicured lawn. Right? Just think about a lawn that's 2 inches high.
Mhm.
It is a lot less fire risk flaring up stuff like that than, you know, grass that's 4 feet high. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So it's very, very important that you do that you trim that lawn, okay? I mean, you know, I can tell you to water your lawn, you know, that does help for it not to catch on fire. But I'll tell you right now, I hardly ever water my lawn. That's why my lawn usually pretty dry during summer, but it is what it is. But I do mow it, you know what I mean? It's, you know, it's pretty short, so that is a big thing, right? And so, when we talk about that, we talk about not only just mowing your lawn, keeping everything, you know, clutter free, stuff like that, but we're talking about also hardening your home, okay? When I say harden your home for fires, okay, I mean like what I said about the firewood, okay? You have to realize that all that stuff is fuel for a fire. firewood next to the house. Everybody does it, right? They put all the firewood up there, it stacks up 4 feet high. That is exactly what fire loves, okay? Just like it'll catch on fire in your in your pit or your outdoor barbecue or whatever, do the same thing right by your house and catch your house on fire. So also, cleaning up, okay, a big thing is decks, okay? Cleaning up your deck. If you can get the dead leaves from underneath your deck, okay, that's a big one. Okay? What people don't realize is those gaps, all right, that are in between the boards, right, are just perfect for embers to get down into that. Okay? We've had more fires that have come from, say, barbecue pits and stuff like that, where the ash comes out, right, and goes right in between, and it sits there and smolders for hours and hours and hours. Person barbecues, okay, they go back in the house, they eat, I've had people tell me, well, I literally barbecued 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago. Everything was fine, you know what I mean? But sure enough, the leaves finally caught on fire. Deck where the air is going through, right? The fire's going up, it catches the deck on fire. Next you know, you have a structure fire. Well, think about that with a wildland situation, same type of thing. Remember those embers that I told you about? They fly up to a mile, they go, they land on the deck, they fall in between the boards, and it starts to smolder. And those dry leaves that have been there for probably literally years, right? So it's a very, very big thing to keep that clean that out, okay? Leaves in general. Put the pain in the butt sometimes, you know what I mean? So when you got that tree that always constantly just drops leaves, but it's a very good idea to rake them up. And I saw a few just over here a little bit ago when I was driving around, big piles of leaves, dead leaves, right? Well, that's the fire's best friend. Fires love that stuff, right? Get those leaves, don't just rake them up, but get them off the farm. Okay. Furniture, like one thing I was telling people to do in the last fire we just had over there, and really that's for some people, get your furniture, get it up and get into the garage. Okay, because having furniture stuff that can catch on fire. Because when you normally you have like cloth seats, stuff like that. And imagine a lit match on the cloth seat. It's gonna catch on fire. Okay. So just little stuff like that people don't think. Toys, stuff like that, plastic catches on fire. Plastic is a petroleum product. Realize that, right? So, very important to clean all that stuff up, get it out of the yard. Okay. Also, big thing that people don't realize is mulch. Okay? Mulch not only can catch on fire, because what is mulch? Basically, it gets dried out. It looks, when you first buy it, it looks very nice. Let's say you get the color black or whatever color you want. It looks really good at first because it's moist. Okay? But then after a couple of months, it starts to dry out from black, it turns to gray, and now it's just wood chips is all it is. So, believe it or not, it actually can spontaneously combust. Okay.
Oh,
So, wow. Absolutely. Yes. I've been on a few fires where the mulch itself just started on fire by itself. That is because they've actually had huge fires in mulch area, like where they actually were like companies that they do, like they have huge mounds of mulches and just spontaneously combust. And those fires are almost impossible to put out. They will last for days. Wow. They just spontaneously. Imagine again, somebody throwing a match right there, and it's a ember. Same thing can catch on fire. So we recommend more stuff like rocks, stuff like that, right? You see the rocks that are up there, more hard stuff instead of wood chips or mulch. It looks good, but then it also is much better for fire. Yes, ma'am.
what about rubber mulch on a playground?
That's a very good question, because I thought about that actually myself. I have a 2-year-old myself. Yes. And so I was looking at that and I was thinking about that, but it's a product. It's a rubber is a product that when it catches on fire, they're basically old tires. They are just chewed up tires. Yeah. And when tires catch on fire, they're hard to catch on fire, but once they catch, they're very hard to put out. So I wouldn't recommend that if you live in an area that could possibly.
We have a swing set in our front yard for our granddaughter. Yeah. And we have rubber mulch for safety.
Exactly for safety. Yeah. it does have that risk, you know what I mean? So, and again, I don't stop off because I was looking to get a place that, and first thing I looked at was the rubber mulch. It's expensive, yeah, it's not cheap. But yes, unfortunately, it could catch on fire, you know what I mean, if you do have, an embryo.
Does it help if you water it down, like with the fire and
Before
water chips? Yeah, like,
Yes.
you know, in the summer when it's hot.
Yes, it actually, yeah, I mean, it does, like, especially, you know, and before, if you just water down, you know, it kind of helps a little bit, but not as much as obviously before a fire. Let's say there's a fire that's coming in, you know, wetting everything down, that's a very smart thing to do. So people will get on top of houses
Yeah.
and wet it all down, so. very- Okay, so, but like I said, creating that defensible space, all right? So, like 30, 40 feet out from the house, everything is manicured. You don't have a bunch of brush stuff around your house, right? Bushes. Think about all that stuff is fuel for a fire. Okay? So the farther you can get that out, or the lower it is, the better. So assemble a mercy kit. Let's talk about that a little. Super, super important. Okay? So what we call a go bag or a mercy kit, super, super important to have. Now, a lot of people will think, oh, that's, you know, prepper stuff, they're crazy, stuff like that. You can go to the actual government website, and they'll actually have very good, the American Red Cross has very good checklists of stuff to put on, or stuff to put in a go bag, okay, or a mercy kit. So it's a really, really good idea, all right? So what do you think are some things that you could put in a mercy kit, just right off the bat? What do you think are some good things to put in that?
The legal documents, passport.
Legal documents, beautiful, that's what I was looking for. Legal documents, excellent, 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 okay? Not the legal documents, I would put those in a fireproof safe, okay, and that's part of being prepared, right? So, am I done? Or,
No, no, no.
okay, I'm sorry, that was.
Sir, no, sir.
me.
Okay.
So.
Turn you on.
Okay, you're done, you're out of here.
Oh, no. We appreciate you
So-
Oh, it was his fault.
So anyway, so like I was saying, a fireproof, safe is really good to have, okay? You can get those at Target, right, because they're not that big, really good for documents, okay? Now, as far as a thief, just pick it up and take it off with
Yeah.
it. You gotta weigh the pros and cons. I actually have, well, that's funny to me, is my prepared guy self is, I actually have a gun safe, right, that is about the size of the fridge. And I had a fireproof case inside of that for double protection. And I put the most, you know, important documents that I have in there, you know, some pictures, you know, stuff like that. Because those safes that you can buy from like Target, I think from the tests that I've seen, they do last about an hour-ish. That's pretty good amount of time. So, really a good thing to have is that. I would not waste time. You can buy some of those that are waterproof. I mean, around here, you really don't need that, you know what I mean? If you wanna make it waterproof, just put it inside a plastic, you know, like zip bag or something like that. And then put that inside a fireproof, safe, you know what I mean? And I would definitely recommend to have that. After the go bag, put copies of that, of your important documents in the go bag, so you can have it with you. What else could you have?
Cash, credit cards,
Oh,
cash.
okay, stuff like that.
Water?
Yeah. What about medical? stuff?
Medication.
Medical, like anything you need medically, all right, as far as, yeah, like, you know, whatever you need for that, you know, even, you know, everything from wills or whatever, everything you need medically, put that in there as well, off of that stuff. Okay, everything that you need that you have to take off, that you were gonna wish you had you're, you know, staying somewhere, okay? Also, a radio is really good, okay, to have, okay, with the NOAA, the NOAA, band on that. It's gonna tell you about emergencies, gonna tell you about the situation, you know, stuff like that, the weather, everything like that, if it is weather generated, okay, really good to have. Walkie talkies, you know, just little by little, and you don't have to go out and you can spend all the money you want on these kids, trust me, they get expensive. But you don't have to do that, you can just little by little buy stuff. Okay, so, you know, this month, you know, I'll buy the walkie talkies. You know what I mean, next month I'll buy whatever, you know what I'm saying? A medical kit in there, okay, stuff like that. So it's really, really good to have for a situation where you just need to get up and go. I mean, so very, very And there's stuff like YouTube is obviously a good source of everything to learn right from. So they have, just a boatload of videos. You can learn really good stuff on what to pack from that. Also, don't forget about your vehicle. Okay, vehicle have a good vehicle, like I guess emergency kit for your vehicle itself. I have one of those in mine as well. That is basically everything you need in case that car stops for whatever reason. Okay. I know over here today, recommend, filling up your car. If you do know that there's some stuff coming down, absolutely fill up your vehicle. Okay. Because big thing they had like in Maui, okay, and those type of places was the line to get out of the place. Same thing with Steiner Ranch, okay. Remember Steiner Ranch had one way in and one way to get out, and that line was just a park. So if you're, if you've got, 10% left of your fuel that's in that tank because you didn't bother to put fuel in it, it's fine if you just got to go to A to B. But if you've got to sit in traffic to go to A to B, and next you know it's been an hour and a half and you've gone a mile, that's a bad situation. So have that right now. Also, another thing, back that car into the front to where it can just drive straight out. Okay. And those are just little things you can do just to get out easier. Okay. Talk to your neighbors also about the plans that you have, stuff like that. I'll tell you, me personally, I'm kind of like I don't know if I want to evacuate type of guy. I'm a firefighter, probably will be working, you know what I mean? But I actually have, I'll explain more about this. It's not always where you have to take off and go 10 miles away. Sometimes you can go to a good area if your whole area is getting ravaged by fire. Let's say back to California examples, even Maui, parking lots are actually good places to go and stop at, because what do you have in parking lots? It's a good defensible space because why? Free. That's exactly right. People don't realize that. People don't think about that. They want to just drive out and get out as far as they can. But I mean, if it was getting bad in my situation, and I know of a Walmart parking lot or something like that, that's right there. I'm just going to go park right in the middle of a Walmart parking lot, away from any other car. Okay, because you'll see like in the damage and Maui stuff like that. They had cars. Cars will catch other cars on fire, obviously, right? So they get hot and they catch the next one that's next to them. So just get out there and park away from all of the vehicles. And that's a very good spot to be in case of a wildfire. Okay. So think about that. Empty parking lots. I know in my house in Suffield, the road behind my house is literally like you can hop my fence over it. And I've talked to my wife and I said, if we would ever have to evacuate, we don't necessarily have to go because I don't want to leave my house. I want to defend my house in case for looters and stuff like that, if it really got bad. So what I would do is I would take my vehicles, I'd park right behind the house, right in the middle of the road that's really, really wide, stay there. I wouldn't be back. I'm not saying not to. I wouldn't myself because I want to go back to the house and make sure, looters will go to the house and stuff like that. But anyways, but that really, should try to hit home to you. Don't just think about getting out of Dodge. Think about going to a spot, like I said, a big parking lot. That's a good spot to be. Okay. Now let's talk about a little bit about we talked about the being ready. Okay. Let's talk about the set part of Ready, Set, Go. Okay. And that is stay informed. Okay. So you want to monitor your local news channels. Right. Everybody talked about the radio. Okay. The NOAA, the NOAA radio stations. They're really, really good about keeping you informed about what's going on with the weather. Fire spreading, that we'll talk about the disasters. Okay. So really good to have that radio. Okay. Talked about your go bag, okay, your emergency bag. Yeah, that makes sure it's all nice and packed and everything like that. Load the vehicle, water, okay, food, everything like that. It doesn't hurt to have extra water. Okay. To throw in there if you're evacuating. Okay. And like I said, talk to your neighbors. Okay. And then to go evacuate. If you're gonna evacuate, go early than later. Go early rather than later. Okay. So again, I'll bring up the example of Steiner Ranch. Okay. The people that left early, they had that huge line of the one-way out of Steiner Ranch, and that's a very hilly area. If you've ever been in there, right? They left early, they fared a lot better than the people who waited. Right. So next thing you know, they're caught in that just traffic jam. Okay? So leave early better than leaving late. And then, follow the evacuation routes, okay? So those should be thought about before, okay? So if you have a spot, let's say if you know there's an area where you're gonna have to take off to. So what you wanna do is hit that area, right? So, okay, you know, you're talking to your wife, your husband, whatever, you're like, okay, we're gonna hit this area, we're gonna hit this road, and we'll go to that point. That's our plan, okay? It's basically an escape plan. Which you should have for your home in a regular house fire, okay? As well, okay? How are we gonna get out of this house? 2 ways out of every room, okay? Well, same thing with a wildfire. How are we gonna get out of this big room? And then also, this says, you know, cooperate with the authority, it's kind of obvious. You know, you want to listen to us, don't not listen to us if we're telling you, hey, you need to get out because this is, you know, let's say that there's a big fire coming through. We know what we're talking about. We want to listen to this. You don't want to ignore the stuff. So let's talk a little bit about, do we have any more time, by the way? We good? Okay. So let's talk a little bit about reverse 911. Does everybody know what a reverse 911 is? Okay, so reverse 911 is done through the county dispatch, okay? So basically what that is that you will get a call in your area. What we do is we say, okay, look, we've got a wildfire coming in. We need everybody within a mile radius of us to be evacuated, okay? So what they do is they get on, dispatch will get on there, they'll use their system to reverse call everyone. So everybody will get a call that's in that area right there within a mile, okay? It used to be just the homes. Now they're starting to upgrade the systems to where it's including cell phones allowed.
Oh, wow.
You'll get a text, okay? Didn't used to be that way, but they've upgraded a lot, so.
So all of our telephone numbers are, they all have that.
Basically, yes.
Oh, nice.
Now, I'll tell you about an app, okay? And this is a good app to download. It's called Alert Central Texas, okay? So it's a good app to look for. Okay, now what this will do is really cool. It will, let's say if you're, one thing we had in Ruby Ranch, I keep using that as an example because it just happened, even though it was not really a big event as far as no homes caught on fire. But we had people that were in Austin at work, right? And then they heard about it on the news or whatever, and they're either looking for stuff or they're coming home, they're not knowing what's going on, right? So with this app right here, you don't have to be just in that area. You can be in Austin, okay? And you'll get an alert from the app itself, all right? And it'll tell you what to do or what not to do, everything like that, okay? So it's called Alert Central Texas. Okay, so look at that app up, and that's a very good app to download. Prepare. So the reverse 911 is actually a very, very good asset for us that we have. So that's pretty much it as far as the Ready, Set, Go initiative, okay? I'll leave this here. You guys can kind of look at it, and these are good to have. They also have checklists on the back. They got the new kids, everything like that. It talks about the defensible spaces, okay? And just a really good thing you can kind of look at and use that. Right?
Inspector Solis,
Yes,
may I ask a favor, like a really quick overview? I know it's spring forward, fall back. There's like a 3-tip thing that we're supposed to do. Whether we check our batteries in the smoke detector and what else is it?
All right, so let's talk, are we okay to talk a little bit about
Canvas?
home safety? Are we good for that? Maybe a couple minutes? Okay, I'll do that real quick, okay? I'll give you the Cliff Notes version, all right? So with that right there, very good. I'm glad you brought that up. So let's talk about smoke detectors, okay? Make sure you have smoke detectors in the home. And we're gonna talk about just the home, no fire on the outside, wildfires, right? So in the home, make sure you have smoke detectors. Super, super important in every sleeping area, okay? What are smoke detectors designed to do? They're designed to wake you up when you're sleeping. If you're awake, you can see and smell smoke, you can know what's going on. They're designed to wake you up, okay? So if you're in there and you're asleep, you gotta have those things going off to wake you up because the smoke can actually put you to sleep, okay? And so you don't want to obviously for that to happen, you want to be alerted. That's why they do what they do. So change the batteries once every 6 months, and that change time, which is what we had yesterday, is a really good time to think about it, right? Straightforward, fall back, really, really good time to change those batteries out. So you'll have 2 types of smoke detectors. You'll have the kinds that have the 9-volt battery in it, okay? Those are the ones you want to obviously change out. Some smoke detectors nowadays are just a 10-year battery. Okay, so you obviously don't have to change those out. You'll know if you have your regular, like mine, the regular, and you don't have new house. It's the regular ones and they start to, so and you'll see a little port on the side of it. But anyways, so by the way, those smoke detectors, they do have a expiration date on them, 8 to 10 years. Okay, your home is older than 8 to 10 years. You never change out those smoke detectors. It's a good time to start looking at doing it. Okay. Because that's when they tend to get those annoying chirps. Even if you replace that 9-volt battery, they still chirp. They'll stop for about an hour. You think you did good, and next you know, it starts chirping. It's driving you crazy. Mention your pets. I've seen people where the dogs are just scratching the doors like crazy. They do a lot of damage to the trim and stuff like that because that annoying chirp. Anyway, okay, so talk about that. Right. So let's talk about also having a fire extinguisher in your home. Okay. Base level, if you have 2 stories, put one on the top level, put one at the bottom. Have one in the garage as well in my home. Okay? So fire extinguishers are excellent to have. Know how to use them. Okay. We use an acronym called PASS. PASS. Okay. The P stands for pull the pin. The A stands for aim the nozzle. The first S stands for squeeze the handle. Second S stands for sweep side to side. Okay. Simple, but trust me, under stress, people mess up. Okay, so you definitely want to kind of know what you're doing when you're using one of those, right? Again, they're simple, but just, you know, it's good idea to watch some videos. Wouldn't hurt to do that to see how to use those, okay? But have one of those will be, say, somewhere accessible and visible, okay? Let's say this is my kitchen right here. 9 times out of 10 people have them right here and they're under there underneath their sink or something like that. Right? And then that's fine if it's mounted. But what happens if they just set it at 9 times out of 10, they're going to get pushed back behind all the cleaners and stuff like that. Right? Then a couple years down the road, you don't realize if you have one. All right, so let's talk about real quick grease fires. Okay, grease fires, super. What's the best way to put out a grease fire? That's good, but most people don't have a fire blade. Okay? Cover it. Thank you. You just went across. What are you taking away from the grease fire?
Oxygen.
Oxygen. Thank you. You guys are awesome. If I had a junior firefighter, it's bad.
We're gonna want one.
I am bad. Trust me. So yes, I've had people tell me throw sugar on it, throw water. Yes. I say no, no, and no.
It'll be hot, but
Someone even said, and I'm not kidding,
A beer.
to throw something else on it that looks like flour, but it's not.
Oh.
I'll just leave it at that. It's illegal. No, you don't.
Oh.
Yes, definitely. No.
No,
You got issues, by the way.
not that much.
So you're gonna put that lid on it, okay? That will fill the oxygen to it, okay? And that's the best way. You can absolutely use an extinguisher on it, but you're gonna hate the cleanup. Trust me, okay? Very, very messy. It gets into everything.
Yeah.
Okay? So just put a lid on it. No fuss, no muss. You just said it there. All right. Let's talk about 2 ways out of every room. Okay, we talked about a plan to get out of a wildfire. You need a plan to get out of your house during a fire. Right? Very, very important. Right? Which way do you need to get out? You guys tell me right now. What's the most obvious way to get out of your room if your house is on fire?
The door.
The door, right? Oh, but lo and behold, you touch that door, it's hot. What are you gonna do there?
The window.
The window. Okay. All right. No, I'm talking. When's the last time you opened your window? Can you open? Can you open your window?
Yes.
Right? That sounds funny. Trust me, though, because what happens? Expansion and contraction, right?
Right.
The window expands and contracts for the heat and cold. What gets in there? Dirt. Next thing you know, you try to open it, it's hard, right?
Break it.
If you're like me, I'm a big security guy. I've got those little extra locks, you know what I'm talking about? You can buy at the store.
Yeah.
Right on there, right? You know what I'm talking about?
right.
Well, I told my wife, at night, you've got to realize what I said. So in other words, she's gonna have to do this and feel for it and then take it off because every one of my windows has that. So that's stuff we gotta think about, right? So you gotta do that. You gotta take that off. You gotta open up the window. Right? So think about that. If I know people that haven't opened their windows in 10 years, you know what I mean? Because they just never do, you know? Can you open that window? Because the worst thing that can happen is you can't get out that front door and then there's a fire, your house is on fire, and you're trying to open up a window you've never opened before. right? So it's important you practice. Okay? So get in there, and the family, it's got to do with the family. Okay. So one more thing I'll throw in there also, because I'm a firefighter, right? I've got a 2-year-old. So now my second plan, I've talked to my wife about it, right? And that is, if I can't open that door to get to my 2-year-old, who now is in her own bedroom, right? How am I gonna do it? I've got to get out the window.
Yeah, it's like-
Okay. Well, then what am I gonna do from the outside to open that window? What do I need?
Break it.
Am I just gonna be a guy? So I have a tool. I actually have a bag that I have for, I got stuff ready for the burglars, right? And I got stuff ready for the fires. You know what I'm talking about, the burglars. I'm sure y'all, you know what I mean? I got that. I got the stuff ready for the fire, right? So I've got actually a tool in my bag that I use, that I will use if I have to jump out. I can break that window. We call it break and rake. You break the window, you break out the glass so you don't get cut. I jump in there, grab my daughter, and we're out. I'm gonna jump out, okay? But that's stuff you have to pre-plan. You have to plan it. You have to think about that. And you don't think about that, do you? Just like I just said about the window. Because now the window you haven't opened in 8 years may not be an easy thing. So every time, like I was saying about the changing the batteries, practice on your escape plan. Okay, so when you're out of the house, right, your escape plan, you've got out of the house now, right? Very, very super important to have a meeting point with the family. Okay, because the worst thing that can happen, you've got a big family or whatever, even dogs or whatever, okay? You get out and you're just looking around trying to herd kittens, trying to find everybody, right? And next thing you know, your little one has been out the whole time, and you run back in a burning house thinking that your daughter or son, little son or whatever, is still in the house and they've been out the whole time, right? Because remember, we're there, it's lights, it's commotion, right? So it's not easy, you know what I mean? So you want to have a designated spot, either like a fence corner, right? Or a mailbox or something like that. Someplace everybody meets, right? Let's meet up over there. Talk to your family. Everybody meets over there. We count heads. We're all good. Let the firefighters do their things. Okay. If somebody's still in there, don't run in there. Let us do our thing. That's why we get paid the big bucks. Okay. We've got the gear to keep us safe. We can go there, grab a loved one, a pet, or whatever. Speaking of pets, have stuff ready for your pets. Okay. If you got cats, dogs, or whatever, remember when we show up and all that mad, chaos is outside going on with the lights, the sirens, all the apparatus and stuff like that. If you think a cat is going to jump out of the house and never come back to your house again, you are sadly mistaken. Okay, that cat will be gone. A lot of times those dogs are gone. So you gotta have something for those dogs and cats. Be it a bag you can stuff a cat in real quick and just let him out the window and get out. You know what I mean? He may hate you for it, but hey, he's alive to complain about it. You know what I mean?
Pillowcase.
So think about that, right? So think if you throw your cat outside, that cat may be gone. You never see it. I know my cat will be gone. You know what I mean? So think about it. So be prepared. I'm just trying to say, be prepared for your pets, your family, everybody like that to get out and stay out.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? I know I threw a lot at you, but I was trying to put those first.
There's usually some stickers you put on the window of a home. Can we get those?
Oh, for pets?
No, it's for family and pets. It says how many people occupy the house. Do y'all actually use those?
I know. See, just look online. You can purchase those.
But do y'all look for that when you
That's a
go?
very good question.
No.
I can say the fires I've ever fought, we were so busy, we never
checked.
If it was like something like bam, that was right there, and yeah, maybe, something like that, okay, I can see it working if it's caught, but a lot of times we're
Yeah, fine.
adrenaline's pumping, you know what I mean? And that may be effective. I'm not saying they're not, I don't know, you know what I mean? So it wouldn't hurt, you know what I mean? It definitely wouldn't hurt. Especially with fast or whatever.
The fire department's just as effective as a
Extinguisher?
like just for a small, not like freeze, but just like a small house, little,
Fire blankets?
yeah, like the one thing. They're like, no, but.
I like it, because what is that? It's another tool. It's another tool to fight a fire in case. So very good question. Fire blankets are very good. Okay, let me show you how to use them real quick. If this is on fire, right, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the blanket, you grab the corners, and you fold it in like this. This is obviously not big, but you fold it in like this so your hands are protected. You just place it on your blanket is in front of you, right? So there's no flames that can hit you, and then you just back off, and it just basically does what I said about the lid. It just removes the oxygen. Okay. They may tell you never do it again, never use it again, blah, blah, but I think, anyways, but yeah, they're good.
They're just effective, because I have an extinguisher, but I've keep getting advertisements going on, like, should I get one of those instead, they will inspire and.
Definitely get an extinguisher.
Yeah.
Me personally, I would get an extinguisher first, and then get a fire blanket, because extinguisher can be used for any kind of fire, you know what I mean? Even outside, you know, if something's burning outside, you can go ahead and do that. Whereas a fire blanket is a nail spot, you know what I mean, a little, whatever, 3 foot by 4 foot. There. But again, it's very good at it. So it's another tool for the. Question, any other questions?
The information that's in here, it's on a website, right? So I can call it, like, I wanted to include this in the newsletter.
Yes, absolutely. You can have people like your residents look at it.
Oh, it's like
I think they'll send it.
Yeah, that's this one right here. Yeah.
bonfires.
We could include some tips too,
Yeah.
right, in the newsletter, Ken?
For sure. All we have to do-
Also, one more resource. So I'm the one that does the Twitter and the Instagram for our department. So get on there and subscribe to us, okay? And we're always throwing out fire prevention tidbits and stuff like that. We'll let you know about what we're doing when we're training stuff like that. But then we also, like I said, we're always throwing stuff out there as far as fire prevention stuff. Okay, so very, very good resource to learn stuff about fire prevention. Right, so.
How do we look it up?
It's like beautify department or?
Yeah. Beautify Department is that. Just look at Beautify Department again for X, used to be Twitter, and then Instagram. I know everybody is on TikTok nowadays. That's again, you know, some of you guys on Instagram. That's so 6 weeks ago, you know. I'm not that keep up with all that now, you know what I mean? Facebook, amazingly, they're saying that's for the grandparents and you know, stuff like that. But actually, these are report, Facebook is still the most used platform. Even though the kids will tell you, they'll laugh at you when you say it on Facebook, but it is what it is, you know what I mean? So, we do have a Facebook page, by the way, but it's not, I don't do that one, so it has a lot less of the information, the tidbits that's thrown out, the tips, you know, stuff like that. So I don't really do that. So we don't do it as much on that one. The Instagram and the X, or formerly Twitter, we definitely have the fire prevention. So definitely subscribe to that.
Well, thank you very much.
All right, awesome. So glad to come here and you guys are you know, are wanting any training. Okay, I do the Stop the Bleed training for our department. We're more than willing to do that. It's a very good course. It's completely free. So we have CPR classes as well that you guys can take advantage of.
We should do that too.
But yeah, very, very good too. I recommend everybody doing those classes. We're a resource for y'all, so.
Do you have a minimum number of attendees for the class to host a class? Okay, we hosted one here at City Hall. How many,
Classes size. So we just for y'all, I can come over and do.
and how much notice do you need for a CPR class?
CPR class, that's a little bit different because I don't do that.
Okay.
You need to Stop the Bleed class.
Possibly. Okay.
So I would call the department and ask them how much lead time they would need.
Okay.
Again, I think those are like a half day type deal.
Yeah, they're all like-
Stop the Bleed class is about an hour and a half.
Okay.
So it's a lot less of a time, commitment. So it's a little bit easier on your schedule, you know. And I don't need much of the lead time. I could, you know, week or something like that.
Okay.
So you guys are more than welcome to do that, you know, to use this as a resource. So we'd love to do it.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Appreciate, come over here and talk, you know, so.
We appreciate you so much, sir.
All right, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Inspector Solis. Thank you.
And you'll have that, okay.
All right, thanks very much.
Very nice to meet you. All right.
Can I take a picture? Can I take a picture of you all together? How about at the podium?
Who's the mayor? Are you the mayor?
Yeah, perfect.
All right, so we got that real quick.
Picture of you all
I can
together.
tell everybody the mayor go way back. We're friends. I know a lot of who's, you know what I mean?
Good job.
And we all.
Thank you so much.
Huckabee.
Oh, yes.
That's right.
Everybody knows it. I told Chief, I said, you know what? I'm gonna buy you a shirt that says, "It's okay, I know Clay." And everybody name drops in. When I go into the video, you know, I'm looking for stuff. I'm like,
Oh,
oh,
my.
yeah, and they, oh, I know Clay Huckabee. You know, Okay, he's got one of these names for dropping over there.
You know, he grew up right down the street.
Yeah, I know.
Block
Oh,
away.
okay, so I'm
Our
saying,
kids used to play there.
yeah, so a funny story. So I was just, I went to go eat somewhere, right? And one of my pastors who's over here at Hayes Hills, I go to Hayes Hills Baptist Church over here. His wife used to babysit playing them. And I said, oh, really? I said, tell me some dirt. There's some dirt that I can use. They're like, well, we really don't have it. They were so young. I go make something up. So I can use it against them. You know what I mean? So,
No dirt on.
yeah. Very nice to meet you.
Thank you so much, sir.
All right,
Thank
I'll be
you.
safe.
And before we move on, I want to thank Candace, because she got him
Invited.
invited,
Yeah.
and also to Lydia, because she had the idea. So thanks to both of you.
Yes, thank you for that. Yeah, thank you.
So,
Dennis knows people.
okay, let's move on. 5E, receive, update, and take appropriate action on construction of well number 3 on Country Lane. And are you still with us, Don?
Yes, sir. Good evening.
You finally have the floor.
Well, that was a great presentation. I enjoyed that from the fire department.
Good.
So, yeah, just a brief report on well number 3. I have had communications with B Caves Drilling. I've requested their closeout invoices. We haven't received it yet. So I will follow through again tomorrow and see why we haven't received those. I did visit with Pat Lau of Lau Well Services. He has ordered the parts and pieces for the wellhead for completion of it, and he was hoped to have it pieces in next week. And next week, and he only has the 3 or 4 days worth of work out there. We have coordinated a visit with PEC Power. They have kind of revamp the meter there for the 3-phase hookup and check the power out. So that has been accomplished. So we're moving forward, but it's going to take probably another 2 weeks or so.
Any questions? Okay, no action necessary. Item 5G, receive, update, and take appropriate action concerning a request for qualification for a city engineer, and the committee is trying to set up interviews. D. Wright has called references on people. We appreciate that very much. I do want to assign our Mayor Pro Tem to head this committee to kind of help move things along so that we can interview and get a recommendation as soon as possible for the city council. If they have a recommendation, I don't think the committee is ready for any action on the city council. But if you do come to have a recommendation for hiring a city engineer, I would strongly consider holding a special meeting rather than waiting a whole month. So, because this process needs to move on. Don needs his retirement. Looking forward to a retirement party from us. So,
You're still gonna be in call for consulting.
anyways, D, are you still there?
She's on mute.
She's on mute, but anyway, would somebody like to make a motion to add Lydia as the head of the committee to help us move things along? She's volunteered to monitor things and organize things.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second,
Okay.
third, fourth.
Any questions on Lydia, having Lydia become involved on the committee?
Dee, Tony, Christine, and Don.
You won't have a quorum.
No.
All in favor? Are you voting?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So that passes. So we're set on that. Any other, I think we're finished with that item and, I think we're finished with everything with you, Don. Although
Thank y'all so much.
you're welcome to stay if you
Thank you.
want a little more
I
entertainment.
appreciate it. I'll probably break off and get a little more work done. Thank y'all
Okay.
so very much.
Thank-
Bye.
Done.
Item 4H, receive, update, and take appropriate action regarding the upcoming May 2025 city elections. And my update is that we have submitted everything to the election clerk, Hayes County election clerk, and they've accepted it. Because we're kind of working in the dark, not being election experts. But there's not that much to it. But they sent a ballot back that Christine and myself closely reviewed to make sure it was accurate, and it was. And so I think we're all set for the election. So of interest is that they have set it up for anybody that's qualified to vote in the city election can vote countywide. In other words, they don't have to go to one, like the Hayes Hill Baptist Church.
Roxanne was very concerned about.
Yeah, so, yeah, we can tell her that. So, that's the update I have. I don't think there's no action for the council to take. Any questions before we move on? Okay. Receive, update, and take appropriate action regarding status of city secretary. I called the city secretary last week, and she's of course miserable, but going back to the doctor, and she's hopeful that she'll be released and be able to come back to work on April 1st. So we'll see how that goes. Any questions? No action necessary. Receive, update, and take appropriate action regarding stage 3 drought. At least it hadn't gone to stage 4. And we're all hoping for rain. And I did check to make sure that the violators, all of whom are in Elliott Ranch, are being charged the proper rate. You know, for if they use more than 30,000 gallons, they're being charged the extra amount, the penalty amount. And the Kansas,
How many are there?
I think there were 2 or 3.
Oh.
They're not a whole lot. Dee, do you have anything to add? If you're there, if you're listening.
You're muted.
I know, I'm sorry, my phone just doesn't work. Yeah, there wasn't as many, but we're going into the spring, and that's what worries me.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Well, be sure and tell everybody if they have a swimming pool, they can't fill it up with water.
I've got it. And that's most of it,
Jell-O,
everybody in
sand.
Elliott Ranch.
Yeah. You can't wash your cars.
Exactly. No, I'm putting out notices left and right over here, and then we have an annual meeting coming up, which we're going to announce one more time. So
Okay.
hopefully people will pay attention. Thank you very much for your support.
You're not gonna have the annual meeting here?
No, we're going to have it at Hayes Hills Baptist Church. I'll send out the invitation to y'all once we get the agenda done.
Oh, okay, thank you.
It's a bigger meeting. Then.
Yeah, it's big.
Mhm.
It can be entertained another evening. Thank you, Dee, and thanks for all your work on the
Yes.
city
for sure.
engineer issue.
Much appreciated.
Okay.
You're very welcome.
Item 5A is receive, update, and take appropriate action regarding grant for new generators. And we don't have an update because we haven't done anything on this grant. Our consultant is waiting for us to do RFPs to hire an engineer and to get bids on buying the generators. And I figured we needed hire the engineer first because the engineer would be able to write the RFP on the generator. And so that's one of the reasons that if we have an engineer that we've hired, that person would be able to do that, and that maybe we, in going through the RFP process, to hire the city engineer, this would satisfy the grant requirement that we do an RFP, hire an engineer for this grant. And, we do have a time limit. I think we got awarded the grant in the fall, and I think we have 2 years. So I'm sorry we haven't moved on this. I thought our grant consultant was, going to do things like this, but or at least if not, would be able to hold our hand to get these things done in the way that is required by FEMA. So unfortunately, I don't have a lot of progress on this. So any questions regarding this issue?
No, Mike, I have one question. When we already picked out the generators that we were gonna purchase, so
Well,
now we're on hold on those until we get this RFP done.
as you recall, we were about to just move ahead and do it ourselves and spend city funds because the approval for the grant was taking forever, years. And Don and I'd worked and talked, and we picked out two generators to buy, and we're about to pull the plug, and then we got notice that we got approved for the grant. So all that work was for naught anyway. So,
It's a lot of money there. I mean, it's a lot of savings there.
yeah,
A lot of savings.
right.
Right, okay. So we know everybody's on the same page.
Do we do J, sir? Was it a brief one? Did we do it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Was it right?
Three drug,
It was
yeah.
about the-
Yeah.
For water.
For
Yeah.
charging the violence.
All right. That's it, folks.
808.
808.
Do we file a motion or do adjourn without?
We'll just, thank you. Anybody second her motion?
Oh, for adjourning?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I'll second.
All in favor? I think.
So I was just noticing that this list of city council people is short and Tom's not on our letterhead.